dark by the Portland police. And they let us right into the enemy's mouth. But we are still here. We are here because we believe in this message, not only of Christ, but of freedom. Because these people do not speak for us. This small minority of people who seek violence, who seek intimidation, who seek to hurt, to make us back down. I flew here from Virginia specifically to stand with you, Portland.
Do you mind if I get a picture of you really quick? Do you mind if I get...
Stand for freedom. We believe in what we're doing, and we all know that God wins, but we have to be his warriors. We have to stand. We cannot run away. We moved back to where we were originally supposed to be. So let it be known that we did not run. We came back to where we were first supposed to be. We are here.
Thank you.
I'm here with Pastor Artur Pawlowski. My name is Cindy Chafee, and I'm here with an organization called FEC United. And I have had Pastor Art on tour since June. And the name of that tour is called Courageous Faith. And what better place to bring courageous faith than right here in the belly of the beast in Portland? Because we all know what's happened to your beautiful town. We all know what's happening around the country, around the world. And what we need are people who are courageous, not afraid, not willing to back down. And that's what we're here for. So I'm pretty sure they're coming back. So we're going to go ahead and let Pastor Art speak, and he's going to speak the truth, and he is going to speak for courageous faith, because that's what we're here for.
Sorry.
Wow, thank you so much for inviting me in. I mean, thanks to gangsters and wannabe tyrants, my throat has been cleared, and I feel like a brand new baby, like, wow. If I had anything, any sniffle, it's gone. I mean, it died. I'm free indeed. You know, the enemy is known for throwing stuff and throwing stones and attacking the good because they're not capable of good. So they're attacking everything and anything that is decent and just and beautiful and good. But you know what I learned through 22 years that I'm doing this? I have been attacked by gangsters in uniforms and outside of their uniforms and by the black demons and you name it for many, many years. But what I learned is what enemy meant for evil, God turns around for good. And I understand that at the moment it's not pleasant. At the moment, you say, what good can come out of this? We were pepper sprayed and things were thrown at us and some bombs were thrown. And I looked and I saw that the police officers were there just enjoying the view. They have become your worst enemy. I'll tell you why, because there is nothing worse than corruption or hypocrisy. In the Bible it says that, oh, I wish that you would be hot or cold, but because you're lukewarm. And that's what those officers have become. Useless, lukewarm, not standing for anything. Because you see, if they are standing for the gangsters, for the wicked, they should take down their uniforms and join the Antifa. And you know what? I'll have no problem with that. They have the right to be wicked and evil. But please take off the badge. Amen. Because you do not stand for law and order, you gangsters. You stand for wickedness and evil. Amen. Take down your badge, you workers of iniquity. One day my God is going to judge them all. You see, sometimes we wish that God's judgment would come quicker, faster. But let me tell you something. He revealed it to me many years ago when I was frustrated and I did not understand what was going on. I have been arrested without mercy over a dozen times, over 100 court cases, about 300 tickets, and I did not understand the strategy that God had. And here is what he said to me. First of all, he said, you're giving too much credit to the devil. That's the first thing. Secondly, you do not know who your God is. I am the Alpha and Omega. I am the beginning and the end. I am the creator of heavens and the earth. Without me, there is no life. You have to understand that your enemies are only alive because I allowed them to be alive today. They are existing because my father, my papa, said they're still useful. They're useful idiots. The same with the devil. The devil is just a tool, a creation, not a creator. Another thing he showed me, he said, and you do not know who you are in Christ. You're the son of the living God. You are the daughter of the Almighty, the creator of heavens and the earth. When you start to understand who your God is, and when you know who you are in God, you have a totally different perspective. Suddenly you're not a victim, you are a victor. So as bad as it was, all those years for me, being attacked by gangsters in uniform called police officers, politicians that we elected to defend us, to protect us, and they have become traitors, and they should be judged, all of them, for treason, with treason. When those things happen, you have to realize that at the end of the day, God has a purpose. He has a plan. He's exposing everything. People come to me and say, well, it's a terrible thing that is happening. No, listen, it's a beautiful thing because finally it's exposing what those people are made of, who they really are. Now you know who are the police officers in Portland. Well, I saw that with my own eyes. They're not to serve and protect. They're against you people. They're not for you. Now you know. When something happens, don't call the cop. He might shoot you dead. Because they're not here for you. They are against you. When you look at the politicians, people had been saying for years, is this a good guy? I don't know. Maybe he is. His platform was good. Now we know who is who in the zoo. Now we know who is a traitor. And the same in the church. You think, for those years, for those decades that I have been in church and being a pastor, sometimes it's hard to tell who is who because they preach the preach, they talk the talk, however, they do not walk the walk. Now we know who is the masked bandit in the church, who is the masked pastor, false, hired gun shepherd, and who is the real deal. You see, the real deal, the difference between a hired gun and a real deal is very simple. A true shepherd is willing to die for his sheep. A hired gun, for him, is just a job. He's being paid. And at the first sign of trouble, he runs because it's just a job. I don't know if you have seen the video. I have been harassed by the authorities since 2005. But this latest video from Passover celebration, Easter weekend, went all over the world. And it's very hard for me to find anyone that actually did not see it. It's incredible. I was in a barber, as you can tell, I was cutting my hair, or he was cutting my hair. And he says, aren't you the guy that was arrested in the middle of the highway? And I said, I am. And his hand started to shake, and he was shaving me. And I said, oh boy, I am in trouble. The last thing you want is a barber to shave you when his hands are shaking. But you see, what is happening right now, people say, oh, terrible, I'm facing, just a few weeks ago, I faced 4 years prison for inciting people to come to church. My brother David, that was arrested alongside me, was facing 2 years. Now, that has been changed to, for me, 21 days prison, and for him, 10 days prison, unless, and listen to this, saints, unless I ask for forgiveness. Unless I say I'm sorry. So my message to those devils is very simple. Lock me in prison, take the key, throw it away. You will never hear sorry from me. I do not apologize to hyenas. I do not bow before hyenas. Lions eat hyenas for breakfast. That's why I'm getting bigger and bigger in this country of yours. I want to plead with you, friends. Please help me out. Because if I stay here any longer, I'll be so big, I won't be able to fly back to my country. I need patriots to start eating those evil hyenas, helping us. So I came here. I remember I was sitting in prison for 3 days. They would not allow me to sleep. They were banging on the wall. I was on concrete. Every half hour they would come and bang on the door to make sure I cannot sleep. They strip us naked and put chains on our feet. Think about it. I'm a pastor. I have zero violence. I have no record of violence or assault. Never been charged. I am always the one that is attacked and assaulted. And yet they put chains on my feet and handcuffed. For a month I had tingling in my fingers and I had bruises, a scar for over a month. That's what they do to pastors that feed thousands of people on the streets of our cities. They hate what is good. They hate what is decent. We have entered a time when they call evil good and good they call evil. Those wicked people were chanting something about Nazis and fascists, and look how they behaved. They attacked children. You wicked, evil man. You're demon. You're demon, walking demon, attacking children and women. Oh, you coward. Oh, you coward. Come and fight with the men, not with children and women. But you see, hyenas are cowards. Hyenas are cowards. You cowards. They only attack in packs. They don't want to face a man because they're not men. They're cowards. They're hyenas. They're little demons trying to discourage the good from existing. It's not going to happen because we know how the story ends. We know how the story ends. We win in the end. On the third day, when I was there with my brother David on that floor, my brother came to me and says, Art, what are we going to do? And I took a step back and I said, I do not know. And he hit me. That's exactly what I have to do. Take a step back and see what God is going to do. See, he is exposing the evil. He's exposing them in the faces of the people now. Anyone that has ears, anyone that has eyes, knows who those people are and what they represent. They know who their father is, and is the devil himself. So there is good stuff that is coming out of this. Lots of good stuff that is coming out of this. If I was not attacked for over a year, 30 COVID tickets, millions of dollars worth of tickets, if the Gestapo would not come to our church illegally, breaking 3 criminal codes and trespassing, if they would not arrest me in the middle of the highway, very, very dangerous arrest, I would not be here. I would not be traveling on your beautiful country, encouraging others to stand up and fight. You know, the beautiful thing about courage, you know, fear is contagious, but courage is contagious as well. If enough people will rise up and stand up, this whole thing would be over. If enough men would do what man is called to do, this would be over. If enough pastors, clergymen, priests, rabbis would stand up and say no to the bully and get out, this would be over. Get out of my church. Get out of my business. Get out of my parking lot. Get out of my family. Get out of my church, school, government, White House. Get out, you evil, wicked people. Say no and get out. What I know about the bullies is very simple. Bully will never stop on its own. Bullies, they need to be stopped. I'm telling you, this country is on fire. have mercy on the poor Canadian. I have lived most of my life in Calgary. I call it my little Siberia. So I can stand minus 50 Celsius, no problem. We feed people throughout the winter. Minus 20, 30, 40. My record is minus 55 Celsius. I got no problem with that. We dance a lot. But the heat, well, I guess we are in the middle of the furnace. So I want to talk a little bit. I know my time is up, and this I rebuke. I want to talk a little bit about fire. Are we changing the mic?
Check, check.
Will it be better?
I hope so.
I want to talk a little bit about fire. Do you remember the boys, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego?
Yes.
Do you remember when Nebuchadnezzar, the king, the Fauci, the Biden, the Antifa, the corrupted cops, they all said everyone has to bow. You have to bow before the mosque. You have to bow before the vaccination. You have to bow before social distancing, physical distancing. Bow or else. Well, all my life, I have said to those devils, I take or else. Because when you take or else, you're inviting God into your life. When God shows up, He comes with the fire. So Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, they said, "Oh, great king, we will not bow." And he says, "Well, who will rescue you from this fiery furnace?" And their reply is unbelievable, amazing. This is what they said. "Well, our God is perfectly capable. Look at us now. We were attacked. We were in the fire. And yet, we are still here. We were in the fire. But Jesus comes to the fire." How many of you want to see Jesus? You want to see Jesus, you got to go to the fire. You got to go to the fire. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, they were willing to go to the fire. If God will not rescue us, so be it. But know this, we shall not bow. We shall not bow. Good people do not bow before evil. Men of God, women of God do not bow before demons. Lions do not bow before the hyenas. Eagles, God said to me, tell this great eagle, the American eagle, rise up, start flapping your wings. For too long, you have been told that you are just a turkey. You're just a chicken. But if you are, be very careful because you will end up on my grill. I've never cooked lions. I never grilled eagles. Tell them it's time to stand up. Tell them it's time to flap their wings. For such a time as this, God raised you up. The free world, the eyes of the world are focused on America. Wherever I go, people are asking me this question. What are Americans saying? Will they rise up? Will they stand up? Will they fight? Will they defend? Will they come to the rescue? You see, again, in history, it's up to you to do what's right, to defend the rest of the free world. Because if America will fall, if this great eagle will not do his duty, the rest of the world will follow. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, they understood that. And they gladly went to the fire. And I bet it was not pleasant at first. Even to look at the fire, they understood they might die. They might see their God in a split of a second. But let me tell you the lesson I learned from those boys. When enemies were called the finest soldiers in the kingdom of Nebuchadnezzar, were called to bound them and throw them, God first dealt with the finest opposition. And the soldiers that threw Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego into the fire furnace died first. And then Jesus shows up. Jesus shows up. You know, when Jesus shows up, it's over for the enemy. When Jesus shows up, it's over for Antifa. It's over for Fauci. It's over for wannabe tyrant Biden. the illegal. You know, I call you White House a black house now, and not because of the color. You know, some fools, Antifa, can't even understand what I'm talking about. I'm not saying black house because there are black people there. I'm saying it's occupied by evil, darkness. So if you're watching this, use some, or maybe you don't have any gray cell anymore. It's just the wind from left and right. Maybe that's the case. Jesus shows up, and nothing happened to Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. And then they come out as a witness. You see, God called us to be a witness. People are watching us. They're watching the church. They're watching the pastors. What are you going to do with the problem? People are waiting for solutions. We are called to give them solutions. When Nebuchadnezzar saw the miracle of God, when the boys came out of the fire, he said, I will paraphrase, only God could do something like this. And let it be known to all the earth that whoever will not honor the God of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego will be cut to pieces, killed, and his house will be destroyed. And that's the story of the fire. If you want to see Jesus, sometimes you have to go to the fire. If you want to see a miracle, sometimes you have to pay the price. And I'm telling you, our price is nothing in comparison to the price that Jesus paid for you and for me. For about a week, I was told not to come here. For about a week, people were sending me messages that I will be killed, that I will be attacked, that things will happen. And I had to look in a mirror and say to myself, what kind of a man I'm going to be if I start running every time the demons shows up. I decided to come because your city is worth fighting for. Your city is worth fighting for. Your families are worth fighting for. Your children, the children that were attacked today by those gangsters that work for the government, your children are worth fighting for. And it's up to you and me. Will we lead the charge, or will we be like the rest of those clergymen and run for our lives instead of standing up in the thick of the fire and say, my God is perfectly capable to get me out of this pickle. And no, Fauci, Biden, Antifa, police department, we shall not bow. Amen. Be blessed, Portland. Be blessed, Christians. Be blessed, patriots. Do not lose courage. Be brave. Stand up. Shine. Be the light and be the salt, because if the salt loses its saltiness, it's good for nothing and it will be trampled by men. This is our time. This is our time to shine. The greater the darkness, the greater the light is going to shine. Amen. When we come out into the open. So be blessed. Amen.